And we're...
Oh my god.
Jesus!
Who's that?
For your information, that was Ultra's voice.
Basically, they got Ultra's look right, but damn did they give him an annoying voice.
Oh boy.
You know what this is?
Yeah, that recap told us
Wondering
exactly
what the hell was that?
Alright, everybody, so in today's episode, the time travel bullshittery is gonna get even more confusing.
How more confusing can it get? I mean, we've already established that apparently changing the future somehow changes the past, so what more could they possibly do?
In the last episode, part that was actually, main plot related, we established that the ending of pretty much all the events of 13-2 have been wiped from existence, and because of that, the timeline got changed and shit.
13 ending is was Jova was referring to that.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I was confused when he said 13-2 has been wiped out.
Yeah, Freudian lapsus.
Pretty much. You can pretty much just cross 13-2 off the timeline. It doesn't matter anymore. We can also cross out the timeline of Georgia Van Kuelberg's career, because ever since she started as Vanille in these games, her career ceased to exist. So we can also.
She seems so charismatic in the interviews. She's trying.
And by the way, audience, I'm not even kidding. On IMDb, there's nothing listed on her resume after Lightning Returns. That's sad.
Oh boy.
Well, give her some time. That game was 3 years ago.
True, she could be working on some project, hopefully. Dear Lord, to know she deserves it. I mean, yeah.
Well, we know after this train wreck, she could very well
you're
be in
using the
therapy.
Assassin's Creed costume.
There you go, Jova. Here's a treat for you. Since you asked for it, there you go.
You know, it's just sad that I actually like that outfit more than the default. Still, though, here's what I don't get.
I don't know nothing. Allow me to say right now, audience, I know nothing about Assassin's Creed, so I wouldn't even know if who this costume is supposed to be. Jova, why don't you elucidate us on who?
I could respond, but let Jova be. Sure.
Yeah, basically the outfit we're looking at from now was, at the time, from Ubisoft's latest Assassin's Creed game.
Revelations.
Yep, Revelations.
Which was basically the last of the Ezio Auditore trilogy.
Yeah, a good trilogy overall. I recommend looking at it. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is basically this, what's about this long-running line of assassins who, ironically, are actually the good guys against these bad guys who are pretty much the equivalent of that world's Illuminati, a.k.a. the Templars.
At least that was the basic plot until, should we say, 3. Let's go with that.
We won't go too much into that.
Ubisoft decided to introduce bullshit plot elements that made it so complicated that Kingdom Hearts is pales in comparison.
See, here's the main thing
in the first game. So
yeah. Any to wrap it up. See, here's
hold on, Jova, this is important. This is important.
The one you met was a different Yeul. A Yeul from the future.
Yeah.
So, you don't know me either.
Yeah.
I know about
So basically, every time we meet this character, it's a completely different one with different personalities. So basically, I have no reason to care about.
Wait a minute.
About her.
It looks exactly like Yuna's in Final Fantasy X-2. Now that I think about it, minus the scarf
the correct path.
and the boy shorts to an extent, but the skirt looks similar.
I already know.
Ah,
You and I are the same.
not really.
What do you mean? You too can show others the way.
And yet you don't look the slightest like you.
I don't get it.
We don't get it either, it's okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, Serah. It's kind of how this game works. So
If this were Kingdom Hearts at this point, they would have just pulled out the "I'm your nobody" shtick. But this ain't Kingdom Hearts, so I can't wait to see what convoluted plot point they'll use to excuse it.
actually, Jova, they don't explain what happens. They just make it happen.
So we're supposed to believe that Serah and Yeul are somehow one and the same.
No. What they mean is she's also a Cirrus, basically.
Okay.
Now you're probably wondering, why the fuck is Serah a Cirrus? But she has nothing to do with you. Well, Teo, you want? Oh wait, Teo dropped.
Let me guess.
the true
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
I
seemed
think
like-
I know why. It's basically they're pulling out the whole Serah had this mystical element from the get-go, and that's how she was so dang clever in the first game.
That's a bit of a problem, Bojova, because technically speaking, all this it was established that all Yules that possesses that power look the same, very identical, almost in a robotic way, even though very technically human beings. However, Serah looks nothing completely nothing like them. So what's the point? I mean, if you want to make that similarity, use Serah's appearance for Yeul.
Wait a minute, I get an inkling. Wait, are they going...
No, Jova, this is not Splatoon.
Nah, I wish. But I get the feeling that they're going for something like a Final Fantasy VII with this, where Serah's gonna be a semi-clone of someone, isn't she?
No,
And that's why she's
Jova.
different.
Actually, no.
Like I said, Jova, there's no actual explanation for why Serah is a Serah. She just is. Because the plot demands it.
Magical girl Serah.
Well, I guess that may explain why she was so...
Even though
Wait a
I
minute.
think having Cube make a contract in this game would have made more sense to the story.
Speaking
Yeah.
of contracts, what the heck is an Ubisoft property doing here? I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, I like the outfits.
Remember, Jova, there's also the XIII-2 from Mass Effect, which is an EA IP. Basically, Square-Enix made cross promotion with those. Basically, they
knew-
and Ubisoft made those costumes for them, and in turn, they paid a bit Square Enix and financed this game. Judging by the quality overall, I think they paid poorly, but that's my guess.
So, does Serah get an Assassin's Creed outfit as well?
Nope. Serah surprisingly doesn't get any referential quote-unquote costume. Surprisingly enough, she was supposed to have one that looks like Little
Hey,
Red
guys.
Riding Hood, but sadly it got lost.
That's a really
in the-
strange decision.
Hey guys, do you want to hear some exposition?
No!
Well, too bad. You're listening anyway.
Oh, hi, Hope.
Hey, spawn of... Actually, I can say spawn of Satan because that place is already filled, so...
Spawn of Lucifer?
Let's go with Beelzebub.
Remembered that Noel and I had been here.
They mean the exact same thing as Satan, but sure.
It depends, Pedro. Some media
know.
fiction make them two
Come
different
on,
people.
Pedro,
just for
you're
the
a
fun of
veteran
it.
of Shin Megami Tensei 2, you should know better.
I guess, sure, but I'm not well, but that's the thing, Teo. There's normal Satan logic, and then there's Shin Megami Tensei Satan logic.
And to be fair, that's not the only one that portrays Beelzebub and Satan as two different characters at times.
And then
It's like with, for example, like there's normal science, and then there's Metal Gear science.
Nanomachines intensify. What the shit?
Okay, once again, please excuse the poor image quality.
Pew 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 pew. Are we in Gradius now?
Whoa, I think I'm ahead of you guys. What time are you at?
8,
27,
26, 27, 28, 29.
Oh, shoot. Let me pause
This is a recording of
it.
the future. We're unable to identify the location
Come
or
on,
circumstances.
pause.
There is one thing we're sure about.
Well, we're basically repeating it once
Remember,
again
don't
the
know what
scene
area
from the beginning of the game, so
Because, because apparently we haven't seen it enough by this point.
Lightning is alive in that place. In my memory, Lightning disappeared after the battle with Orphan, but she's living somewhere in the future.
Where are you, Jova?
not just a dream.
Trying to
is
get this
She's
YouTube
out
player to
there.
pause.
it? Then
But for
I'm
some
going.
reason, it's being
just
more
press
stubborn
on the
than usual.
giant play icon, it usually works.
After all,
That's what I'm doing, but it's not responding. That's what I'm saying. This is unorthodox, to say the least.
research had finally borne fruit.
Refresh
Okay,
them.
now
It all
it's
began
doing
with
it.
the Oracle Drive.
Okay,
We excavated it
paused
from ruins
at
many centuries old.
10:02.
Also, I just want to
Sure.
point out, really, this drive, Oracle Drive, was supposed to be an ancient thing that Pulsion used. Remember, this is a fragment of Pulse that was stuck on Cocoon.
This is when I learned what I
Okay,
must do.
so you're going to tell me it existed before the events of the original 13. So you're going to tell me that in all these centuries, the Super Pope, which was basically the second in command of the entity that controlled Cocoon, Lindsay, never actually found
Make things better. Not just bring lightning.
these or actually investigated or try to use those to his advantage. Nope, he just completely
And
ignored it and
click.
continued with his stupid plan setting.
Perhaps
Like-
perhaps he's not as smart as the original script would like us to have thought.
Chasing
No, it's just that the plot of his game was completely pulled out of a writer's ass with
realize something.
countless plot points here, plot holes here and there. Fuck this game.
Chasing the impossible. Well put, Hope.
Mr. Tails Caven. We have already established in this class that the events of Final Fantasy 13 have been erased from existence. Do I need to put you in timeout?
Right.
You know, come to think of it, with all the cross-promotion and stuff, at this rate, why not have just made this game like a crossover with, at least Assassin's Creed? I mean, come on, time
It's
travel.
actually funny you mentioned that, Jova.
There's a flaw-
The
there's
first
a
couple
major
of trailers
flaw in your
of Lightning
logic.
Returns,
Hold on.
it's actually funny you
Yeah,
mentioned
they
that,
look-
Jova. The first couple of reactions. Oh, right. Meteor destroys everything. I forgot.
This reminds me of a past Final Fantasy game, but I can't put my finger on it.
Oh, really?
Ah, really, Jova?
Something, Final Fantasy
Surely you
VII.
Caius.
Don't be silly, Jova.
Not necessarily rewritten.
By the way, Jova, there's one major flaw in your plan. That might actually be kind of cool.
Perhaps a
Okay.
And
continuation
that,
of the
that
first
and that's not what that's not what they were going for.
Okay, now who
Jova,
to...
for future reference, if any of your
So, yeah,
your guesses about the plot are actually something cool, then don't
Caius'
say them because
plan
they're
is
probably wrong.
It came to ground.
Basically, Jova, Caius' plan, apparently, according to these visions, is to erase the timeline by making Cocoon fall and destroying Pulse.
Gee,
How we
where
can
have
do
I heard that before?
I don't
Couldn't
know.
do that.
Yeah. Anywho, too, you're also giving me some trivia on the whole crossover stick thing.
Oh yeah,
Not for a
basically,
couple of
no. Basically, the first couple of reactions to the very couple of trailers of Lightning Returns were people saying, "Oh, she looks, not she looks, but the way she moved, jumped, and climbed on things. Oh, she's totally like an assassin from Assassin's Creed."
Future I live
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a bit about it, so allow me. Basically, what we're established from this cutscene is that basically the Orchestra tells us that basically the future is going to go to shit. So they decided to try to do something and change that from happening. Basically.
So they want to stop Cocoon
Everything
from
about
falling in
this
the
is
first.
shit, past, present, and
Yeah,
future.
they're actually trying the
difference?
logical time travel. Well, Jova, they're trying to try the logical time travel way, changing the past so they can change the future. However,
But-
since this game works backwards, something's not
You have
gonna
to change
happen
the future to change the past.
This is how
Oh
it.
my God.
This is how we do things here in time travel
Like,
bullshit already.
This is Wonderland level of logic.
Should Cocoon indeed fall, we can help
No,
and by
I think
that-
Wonderland had
Back
slightly
up.
more logic than this.
We
Agreed.
could try to solve things
Probably.
at the other end in the future. While you start
I'm sorry, but I
here now.
can't, it just seems off to see Noel dressed like that. It just like you can tell it's an outfit from a completely different series. It doesn't quite with the rest.
You know the
Deal
sad.
with that phrase.
You know the sad thing, Pedro. It's like, this feels so much like something that could fit into Assassin's Creed that actually he doesn't feel that too out there.
separate us.
But yeah, actually speaking
Well,
of
Joba, if current days, quote unquote, plot
Oh,
line of
Shadow,
Assassin's Creed is going where everyone thinks it's going, apparently we'll get something like that in future games.
exactly.
You know what's it? You know what's interesting, guys? We literally just got some visual foreshadowing for one of the biggest, stupidest paradox endings in the game.
Alright.
Theo knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, so going back to Noel's costume, am I the only one who finds it weird that, the character that you give all the cross-promotional outfits, all the coolest stuff by comparison, instead, of the main hero that is Serah, instead you give all the costumes to Noel. I mean, granted, he is one of the main protagonists, but shouldn't Serah also get that focus if you're really going to insist that she's the main hero?
On her own, so she turned to the one person she trusted more than anyone. Yes, it is possible. Although the idea
Or is this just going to be that usual Final Fantasy shtick of, we can't decide who the heck the main protagonist is?
Do the prophecies recorded on the device show the actual future as it will happen? Some of the stuff is different from the history I learned.
The
Well,
history
no
of the
shit.
future is yet to be written. We've already learned that when
What?
a paradox occurs.
I mean, well, the problem is that Noel comes from a future where Cocoon already fell. The thing, so obviously it doesn't know exactly what happened, but him acting like that is completely out of character.
Wow. You know it's real great writing when you can't even
You
get
have one
like
character, that's you, and there's already a flat personality, and you still manage to make him go out of character. Congratulations.
Yeah.
He's
How
just
do you
being
even do
introduced.
that?
You
How
have
do you
to
make?
try in order to do that.
I mean,
How do
heck,
you
at least
make
the
a
original
character
version
that has
kept
no
their...
personality? How do you make a character that has no character go out of character? Only Toriyama could do something as amazingly awful as this. Jesus.
So what's our plan for preventing Cocoon from falling, future-wise?
Well, Hope has something in mind. However, we have to see if it will work out or not.
Also, probably should point out a logical fallacy. If Cocoon doesn't fall, doesn't that mean that the fallacy are still alive since that's the reason Cocoon fell in the first place?
No, remember, Jova. Cocoon fell only because Orphan died. However, Fang and Vanille transform into Ragnarok and created a giant crystal pillar to hold that. Kaiu's plan is to destroy the crystal pillar so that Cocoon actually falls.
Wait, but I thought they said they wanted to stop Cocoon from falling.
Yeah, they want to... No, yeah, so the plan of Hope, Alisa, Serah, and Noel is to do something or to prevent the fall of Cocoon.
But like I said, the reason Cocoon fell was because the fallacy, Orphan at least died, so... How do you stop that without, letting the fallacy win in the original
No,
game?
he's not referring to the previous fall. He's referring to a fall that has yet to happen.
Oh.
Basically, Jova, allow me.
Oh, okay.
Basically, Jova, what's gonna happen is the pillar that's holding up Cocoon in the air, the one created by...
Something that was...
Also known as an unseen realm, according to Paul's legend, is the final resting place of the souls of the dead, the chaotic world, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's hell. Who cares?
Typical Valhalla.
It was actually not foreshadowed, but basically already established that in the books of Fabula Nova Crystallis that were released along the original 13.
I see.
So, yet again, a plot point that was originated in a novel.
But yeah. My verdict on the outfit...
At this point, why didn't they just make this a trilogy of novels, since they love their novels so much?
They kind of did, apparently.
That for a while.
I hear that they did make some trilogy of novels in Japan only.
Yeah.
Actually,
No, what I mean is make this entire trilogy, not even games at all, just novels. That way, we at least be spared from them.
Because apparently they thought in the first place it was a good idea to make the premise of 13 a game, which I will admit, on paper, it did actually look like a good premise. I mean, their take on the whole ecological terror.
Honest, the basic idea of 13 is actually would have been actually refreshing for Final Fantasy, having basically a party of characters that are not actually tagging along because they're super duper friends of anything, and having them, actually not being complete heroes, being kind of like in a Tales of game where, the morality is always in question. They have to question everything and stuff like that. However, due to the bad writing, the convoluted plot holes, and the nonsensical motives of everything, including the villain, 13 was a complete disaster because of that. And, having just a good premise doesn't justify anything.
And then you have the sequels, which were made just to try and, equal out their estimates. And because the sequels, when they weren't exactly expecting having to make sequels, you have even more convoluted plots that have to, actually go out of their way to be
like
stupid, yes, but still scramble for ways to try and justify their existence. And honestly, okay, they could have done that, But the way they're doing it, like, you know, trying to erase all that happened with the last one, trying to cover that up, like that'll appease fans. Yeah, not exactly a good idea when you're trying to portray 13 as a good thing in general.
Like it's like Marsgall said, like this game pretty much forgets 13 was ever a thing and just does whatever.
My guess is like, well, they intentionally did that because, like, well, I'm pretty sure even back in its supposed to...
Again, there's an interesting idea behind this. They wanted to move forward from 13, trying to do at least better things in order to, you know, moving forward with the story. But at the same time, just acknowledging 13 existed, but actually trying to do something better. However, the same problem returned in full force and created new ones to boot with. So of course the final product was just as bad, actually it was actually worse than the original. Like, it's so mind-boggling that this game was supposed to, you know, it was actually made. One of the reasons this game was made was to trying and fixing the problems of the original 13, but actually ended up being actually worse than the original game, which was already bad on its own. Like,
it seems to be the 13 trilogy, you know, in a nutshell. I mean, well, taking what is on paper an excellent idea.
The 13 trilogy is a constant marathon of failures and, you know, shame.
Sure, what are your thoughts on all of this?
She's speechless.
This is an incoherent.
Go on.
This is an incoherent clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well put.
And people,
and still, it's sad. The most fun thing is chocobo riding.
And people say Metal Gear is a clusterfuck. At least in Metal Gear, we have entire scenes dedicated to filling out everything and explaining every single little detail. In fact, I love how much Kojima goes into full-blown detail about every single thing, so that by the time we're done, there are no questions whatsoever, because Kojima went ahead of us and just answered them before we even made the questions.
I think the mentality behind the term clusterfuck sort of, you know, varies. Because, like, well, Metal Gear Solid, that's the fun kind of cluster. You know, like, well, the kind that's crazy awesome. And, you know, the kind where you love being confused by how insane everything is. Because it eventually balances out by properly explaining it to an extent.
Just completely nonsensical and poorly explained.
Precisely.
Yep.
There's no
Gear
fun to be had here.
Not to mention Metal Gear is entertaining, whereas these games feel like fucking homework. Oh, you want to understand? Simple. Go back home and read the novels. You want to understand?
There's also a huge problem, another huge problem, at least to me, here. This is supposed to be a, you know, an interesting journey through time and everything, but when you actually notice, there's very little comedy here. Like, the game takes it very...
don't worry, Teo. That's what the
part
is for.
I know.
But that's the sad thing, Teo. I think the main reason why there's little comedy in this game is because even they know that when they do make comedy, it's cringy as fuck.
Like, people tend to, you know, tend to oversay that one of the things they loved about being funny about Final Fantasy VII was cloud cross-dressing and everything. And yeah, that's still a good example. But again, pretty much all...
Hold on, Teo.
Dying.
Basically, Jove, every time the timeline changes, the Serah gets closer and closer to death. And this particular travel that they just did killed this particular Yeul. So basically, Kaius is being forced to watch Yeul die again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
Oh, so that's why he wants to destroy all time.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
basically, yeah. The idea is that
it would be a pretty awesome and tragic dilemma if they actually set up the character properly and a backstory. But no, he's about as interesting as
now we're nowhere.
Yeah, and now for some reason they extorted Crux, a.k.a. the timeline. Okay, everybody. Basically, in time travel bullshittery, sometimes for completely no reason and randomness, we go to a completely different place that has nothing to do with anything, and it just stops the plot for like 5 minutes. Now you're probably wondering, why does this happen? What's the point? Why the fuck was there even any resources put into this? Because... Teo, you want to get...
Because...
I have no clue.
Because look at because
I'm not even kidding when I said this. This particular moment that we're gonna have right here has nothing to do with
Jesus
anything.
Christ, these loading sequences are going on for a bit.
Yes, they are. I'm not even kidding. This particular sequence has nothing to do with anything. Does not advance the plot forward at all. It tells us nothing about the characters.
It's even related to any plot point, particular plot point.
Wait.
Yeah, what he said. What the hell is this?
I'm sorry, what are we doing in Final Fantasy IX all of a sudden?
No, basically...
Drova, that's insulting to Final Fantasy IX.
But the area looks a lot like one of the many castles with the checkerboard, even the over arcs and everything.
Actually, yeah, I think Jova has a point. It does share a bit of similarities, but the thing is, okay,
Even the stone
basically
wall
what this
textures
is.
remind me of one of the places in.
Okay,
Sorry.
What this is isn't even filler. I don't know what to call this.
All right, go on.
Jova.
Yeah.
Jova, remember how the Serendipity town, aka the gold saucer of the first game, was devoid of any kind of anything to do? Well, the Serendipity in this game actually does have mini games to do, like chocobo races and stuff like that. The problem is, right now it's closed. Right now it's closed, so we can't do anything here now. So basically, that particular segment was a complete waste of our time. And now,
even the
time
loading.
to waste. Yes, and now, even wasting any more time. Basically, I'm trying to show off exactly how someone playing this game for the first time would go like, okay, what's going on here? Basically, I'm trying to show off exactly what happens when you actually play in this game. The loadings you have to go through just for nothing. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I hate to say it, but even Sonic 06 seemed to have better paced loading times, even without the patches at times. I mean, that's sad.
Basically, yeah, there you go. This is the other. This once again, this segment has nothing to do with anything. All this, and guess what? This is not even the only time that happens. Sometimes throughout the course of the story, sometimes for no absolute reason, they end up here in this place, all so that they can say, "Oh well, there's oh look, it's Valhalla." Except Lightning's not here because it's in a completely different region of Valhalla. So back to the timeline we go.
And
so basically, there's no point to this. The game is literally pulling the drag chute for a moment there.
And before I come off sounding like I'm spoiled by shorter loading times, let me just say, look, I get it. Some things require a lot of loading time. But when you have over 10 seconds of loading for that segment we came back to, just in it, of all that, that's where I start to complain.
There's a very good reason for that, Jova. The reason why the loading times are so long is because unlike the original 13, which was developed over the course of 5 years and was polished up the ass, this game was developed under a year and a half, so obviously they didn't have the time to polish it up completely. So and because of that, the load times are shit.
And not just like that. Remember, they the way this game was compressed was terrible. Just in order to, for example, the Xbox 360 version to be fit in just one disc.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been a disaster.
Never give up. The goddess Etro watches always and helps those who help themselves.
No, Serah, you're mistaken. There's no such thing as common sense in this universe.
Not much of a legend, really, is it? It sounds more like common sense to me.
No, Serah, you're mistaken. There's no such thing as common sense in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, Lightning Returns also suffered from a similar problem of having a really short development time, but Lightning Returns solved the problem by basically making you install like 5 gigabytes on the hard drive for the sake of putting the long load times. So basically, unless you're buying the Steam version, which of course installs the entire game to your thing, to your whatever, if you're playing the console versions, you'll have, if you don't want the load times to last a shit ton of time, you'll have to install 5 gigabytes on your hard drive.
No, thank you. My computer's already damaged enough as it is. I'm not gonna
which I already did. Which I.
Well, sure, I feel. I fear, Ben, you're gonna have a bad time if you wanna play the Steam version of Final Fantasy IX. Apparently, according to the Steam requirements, it's 20 gigabytes.
Well, 20 gigabytes.
What?
20
Wait,
gigabytes? What?
20 gigs?
20?
Apparently, it has to do with apparently it has to do with the upscaling of the sprites.
They remastered the backgrounds.
Really? Really? I heard that they didn't remaster the backgrounds. I mean, well, from what I've seen anyway, they definitely have upscaled the sprites. They've redrawn them. And they've redone this and that. However, it would be nice, definitely, if they
not so
actually do
much-
remaster the backgrounds. Although, I wouldn't say to
I don't
hold
think
your
it's
breath on that.
I don't think it's as much redrawn as much as like it's not compressed like it was in the PS1. But the point is,
Yeah, but
when
still, that isn't an excuse for 20 gig.
If they redrew
In
the
li-
backgrounds, then I can see it being 20 gigabytes because, see, unlike nowadays where a lot of stuff is pre-rendered in 3D, Final Fantasy IX
and
was
apparently
the...
you cannot play in Windows XP. You have to at least have Vista or 7.
Yeah.
I think most Steam games require that anyway, so...
Yeah.
The thing is,
if they redrew the
okay.
backgrounds, then I can see that because, like, well, back in the days of Final Fantasy IX, and you know, of course, its earlier sisters, but they had PC ports, so they were better set. With Final Fantasy IX, the drawings had to be put in 3D and then solidified to 2D, which is a lot of work. I mean, back in that day and age, of course, they had to fit it to discs, and well, that took, you know, numerous discs. Now, if they're using the exact same backgrounds that they used back then no, it should not be 20 gigabytes, but if they're redrawing those to be HD, then I can see that taking up a bit of space.
Thank goodness for external hard drives.
Yeah.
by the way, let's
that or
return.
unless they're actually adding on a lot more new content.
Just to finish what I was saying, basically you have two installing options for the console versions of Lightning Returns. You can either install 1.5 gigabytes, which is a small install, which installs the most commonly accessed data for the sake and shit, or you can also make a second, and you can also add to that a second install of 3 gigabytes, where it installs even more thing, or again the option that I did, full install, where it installs like 5 gigabytes up to your hard drive, which I did. So our playthrough of Lightning Returns will be as devoid of loading as possible. So you can at least be thankful for that.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, heck, long loading times are fun to commentate on. How
Sure,
considerate of the game devs.
Anyway, everybody, in the next part, we go back to the main plot now that the game is done wasting our time. See you.
Yeah.
We weren't in the main plot?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Exactly. See you, everybody.
Okay.
All right, end the call, and we'll have to start a new